Hello, let's do Starstruck for January 14th. We'll start with the easy. It's called Man with Mustache. So the way you play this game is you need to put a star in every row, every column, and every colored region, and the stars aren't allowed to touch each other, even diagonally. So this is a formation you'll see a lot. So red is going to take a star here or here, so it definitely isn't going to be in the rest of the row. But also, these four touch it. So if I were to put a star here, I wouldn't be able to put a star at all in red, or wherever the star is in red, it will touch that. So those four are also out. This formation here, this touches all three, but also this sees these two in the row and touches this one, and this sees the column and touches this one. Similarly here, this one and this one and this one. Now this is that same formation as that red, so we take because we've eliminated this one, so we can eliminate all those, and now this row and these, and now green has only one place, and now this dark blue has only one place. And brown has two places, interestingly. So we can actually do some logic here, which may or may not be necessary, which is, I guess we can just place in yellow. But let me explain what I was going to say, because it's interesting to talk about this sort of thing. So, and this will be helpful in the future. Orange is down to these two cells here, and brown is down to these two cells here. And so for these two columns, in fact, I can draw with my pen tool here to show you what two columns I'm talking about. And remember, every column has exactly one star. So orange is going to use up one of those stars, and brown is going to use up one of those stars, so that they get a star, which means that's all of the stars for the column. So these all can't be in for that reason. Now we can place yellow and then place brown and then place orange. We've gotten the same result. Light blue can place, now gray and now red. All right. So you can just kind of plonk that one, maybe in about 20 to 30 seconds max. All right, cool. Now let's do the hard. Hard has varying difficulty depending on the day. This is called V formation. All right, so I'm seeing a couple things. One is that this left column here is definitely going to have a star. It's going to put it in gray, so the rest of gray can't be in. And this right column is definitely going to give a star to this light red, so the rest of that can't be in. And now this column here is going to have a star, so that removes the rest of blue. And then this removes the rest of brown for this column. Now this column is going to use green, and that removes the rest of these. All right, now we have two places here, here. Okay, this formation takes out of here and here and here. Blue is going to be in this top row, so we can take out all those. All right, what else do we got going on here? This cell touches all of this orange, so it's out. Which means we either have a, so what's left in yellow, either here or here, this one touches both diagonally, so that can't be in. What else is going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but that doesn't do anything. I was seeing how these four columns are used by these four regions, but there's nothing else to use it anyway. This row is in one of the corners. Huh. I'm not seeing anything obvious to do with these. Let's look closer. I'm thinking about how if I took this, if I were to take this star, it would eliminate all three of these, which would force this star. And it would also force this star. You can kind of see that in your head. So this forces both of these. Now so already there's some formation stuff I didn't notice, which is that these both see this guy here. This touches this one and shares a column with that. Now that this is down to 3, this touches all 3 of them, and that forces the yellow, which then forces this red and this blue. So it is the 3 I marked. All right, so then that light orange has only one spot. Green is down to these 2 spots. I don't know if I can use that yet. 2 places here, 3 places here. Okay. What's next? I just got a bunch of stuff. You'd think it would cascade more, but Yeah, one's in here, one's in here. What can we do about that? Huh. So what I'm thinking about right now is if I were to put a star here, then I need to put a star here to finish brown. That just seems powerful. Eliminates from all of these and this one. So that seems reasonable. I think I can finish this. So one thing that can help think about like areas like this is like if I draw that square there, there's only ever at most one star in that area because any star I put in there would touch the other cells. So you can only ever put one star at most in a 2x2 area. And we only have two more areas for stars left here, which is this orange is definitely going to get one there. This is if we have these two stars, and then we'd actually just have to put a star there, which would then force a star there, which would force a star there. So I think that's our solution. So if we weren't caring about proving it was the only solution, we could just place those stars, which means that we should be able to disprove this. I'm not sure how we would do so though. So we'd have one in one of these two, which would take out of these, which would force this and this. So this is never in. That's something we could just mark up right now. That takes out of all of these. And so then that's going to force this gray. Oh, no, yeah, gray doesn't get anything. It's quite the look ahead. I wonder if I can do something better. So, okay, we can do a few things that are fairly straightforward, which is obviously if I have a star here, then I can't place this guy because it's in the same row. Now, if I put a star here, then that means brown doesn't get here. So brown's down to these two, which remember does take out of these two. So the overlap is that. So the first overlap I'm seeing is that this can't be a star ever because it would take out of these two brown. And this green. It would force these two. So yeah, I guess that's a fairly straightforward way to put it. Yeah, so another way to put that is in this is another way to see it. We're going to have a star in this circle and a star in this circle. And so the star in this circle, wherever it goes, it sees this guy. It's that same L-shaped formation. And so now, I'm not sure what else to do with this. I think I proved that this can't ever be a star. Yeah. So if we look, we're always going to have a star in one of these greens and then also in one of these blues. And so notice that this star always touches this one here. So if the star was there, that's out. But if the star is here, then that's out, forcing this two cell formation, which also takes out of there. So this is also out. We're whittling it down. Now we have kind of an X-wing of sorts here, where yeah, it's just these two rows. That's probably the easier way to put it. Is that this row here and this row here. This is a really generic way to think about it. I highlighted the wrong row there. No, it's this one. Yeah. All right. So we completely covered green and brown with these two rows. That's all that's left in green and brown. So green's going to give a star to these rows, and brown's going to give a star to these rows. Meaning if you're not green or brown, then you can't have a star in these rows. All right. So we're getting there. And now we can use that logic I used before, which is that I can draw this square, which has at most one star in it. And then we know there's at most one star in this square because it's all in one region. And I'd still need a third star for these three rows. So that's going to have to end up there. And that's going to That's going to finish these rows. And then it also finishes the brown and the green. All right. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that was all logical. That was pretty nice. And I also showed you how sometimes look ahead can just finish the puzzle if you'd like to. Cool. Depends on if you're going for speed or you're just trying to enjoy the logic or some hybrid thereof. All right. Well, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope you learned something or at least were entertained. And how'd you do?